Welcome back. So this will be the second video lesson on events, and the event that we will be focusing on in this video is the clicked event. So again, open up an empty template. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up a little bit. I made the ground cobblestone and just a nice plain white spawn location. Okay, so we need some parts. So I'm going to use blocks this time. I'm going to make the sizes 444 on this. Okay, let me turn collisions on and move this up. Let me anchor it. Okay, so let's just get a simple example going here. So this will be, I'll call this box click. Okay, so box click, and I'll probably change the name here in a little bit. So we need two things. We need a click detector, so we go ahead and add that, and we need a script. Okay. So I'm just going to call this script click. Okay. Now we need two things. Let me just name this. So we need a function. So I'm going to call it function on click. And then we need to connect the event, the clicked event, to our function. And this one's a little different than the last one, but not much. So we connect, or we type in the parent, which is the box. And then we go down to the click detector. And then this one is mouse click. And then we connect on this. Okay. And we put our function inside of there. Okay. And this is wired up. So now whenever we click on this, our function will run. And so let's just test it. So let's just say print you clicked. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if this works. And what you'll notice is that there is a little hand. The cursor turns into a little hand when it's over it. But there is a, what do you call it? I'll show you here in a second. But if you click on it, and you look in the output window, it says you clicked. And I can do this as many times as I want. Okay, so it works. Now there is a setting on the click detector, which is kind of like the range, right? And so here, let me show you. So right now it's 32. If I make that really small, like 1, what's gonna happen is that you have to be really close to it before you can click on this box. Yeah, see how it doesn't show up? I have to get really close. Really close. I like too close. And it still doesn't work. Okay, so that was too small of a number. So I'm just gonna put it back to what it was at 32. Okay, and again, if I click play, you can see that the little hand cursor shows up, and when I click on it, it says you clicked. Okay, so it's working. And that's really like all it takes to connect a function to this event. Okay, but now we can do some interesting things, because just like the touched event would send the potty part as the input to our function. Remember on the other one, it sent body part here, and we could do things with that body part. This time, it actually tells us the player. And we're going to use that this time because it's pretty useful. So it's player. So let's go ahead and click, or let's print the player dot name. I think that's how you. I think it's how it's capitalized. Let's try that. Let's see if it works. Okay. So let me click on this, and it works. There's my name, Cisco in Texas. Okay. Now we're going to do other things with this later, but for now, just to let you know that, I just wanted to let you know that you do have access to the player that actually clicks on this box. And you can imagine this is useful, right? Because let's say you have this box and you've got a game with many players. Well, you need to know who it was that clicked on your box in order for you to make things happen for that particular player. And that's what we're going to do later. We're going to change all kinds of things for whoever clicks on these boxes. But for now, let's just get started and let's just test it with some other things. So what do we want this button, this box to do? Well, we can do the classic change color. And let's make sure that works. And when I click on this, it changes the color. Every time I click, I get a different colored box. Okay, so that works. Now, so we can change things with the object, right? So you can click on the object and you can change properties for that object. But we've already done that. We've already changed a whole bunch of different properties already. So let's do some other stuff. What we're going to work with on this one is changing things in the world and then changing things on the player. So one thing you can do, which I don't know if I've shown you this yet, but there's already clouds up there. Let me see here. Okay. So this one already has clouds. I think I added those though. So let me get rid of them and show you how to do that. So normally the terrain is empty, and if you want to add clouds to the sky, you have to go in and add them yourself. You just click on plus and then you scroll down until you find clouds. And I think it's near the bottom. Let me see. You can also type it in. Oh, that didn't work. Let me see. Okay. Must have been there somewhere. But anyway, just type in clouds and now we have clouds. But the nice thing about this is that you can enable and disable these, and you can set all kinds of properties on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn them off. Okay, and then we're going to use a button to turn them back on. So now in the script click, let's change this now. Let's make this box click clouds, because that's what this one's going to do. It's going to turn the clouds on. Box click clouds and script click clouds. Okay. Now let's go into the script itself and let me change the name here. And how do we do that? How do we turn the clouds back on? Well, if you'll notice, this is under workspace. So the way that we access the workspace is with the game keyword. And then we just go into terrain. So it should be there. Let's see if it shows up. Yeah. And then clouds. And this one doesn't show up for some reason. So you just have to spell it correctly. Make sure you capitalize it. I'm not sure why that doesn't show up. I mean, it should. But anyway, and then you want to enable this. And I think it's capitalized. Yeah, so it's a bit of a pain when the autocomplete doesn't work, but it's okay. You can just make sure you spell everything correctly. Okay, so now when we click on this button, this box, it should turn the clouds on. So let's go ahead and test it and make sure it works. So let's see. When we click on it, let me make sure the sky's showing. And they come back. And these clouds are great because they actually like move. So they look pretty realistic. Okay, so fantastic. So that works. So you can change something in your world with a mouse click. But what I want to do is, so I haven't been doing a very good job of labeling these things. So let me show you how you would actually label these. So I would go into my toolbox and I'd go to images and just look up a picture of clouds. And I'm going to label my box with this picture. So let me see what this one looks like. It doesn't look too bad. I'll stick with that one. And you can actually put it on all of the different sides if you want. So I'm just going to put it on one side, but you could put it on all of them if you wanted to. But one's good enough for me. All right, so we've got our first button, our first clickable box, and this one causes clouds to appear. Okay, and you could actually have another box that would get rid of the clouds. So let's go ahead and let's do that. I'm gonna make a copy of this. Let me see. We're gonna need to find another picture, but we need to make a copy of this. Let me duplicate it. And this one, let me raise it a little bit too. This one will turn the clouds off. So I'm gonna call this one. Box click no clouds. And then on the script, I'm gonna call it script click no clouds. Okay, and then I'm gonna double click on this one and change the name here. And the only difference is that the clouds enabled is now false. Okay, and then what we need to do is find a good picture for turning off these clouds. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find something. I might just have to, let me see if there's something without clouds. Yeah, I actually never looked for a no clouds picture. I'm not even really sure. I'm not even really sure what I would use. I guess I could just make it a different color. Yeah, I think that'll be easier. So on one of these, let me make one of these blue, I guess, the one that turns on the clouds. Let me see if I can do that. It didn't work too well. Maybe I can just make the top like a different color. Make that red. Yeah, I guess that'll work. Okay, so I'm gonna put these like next to each other, and we'll do that for now. I just don't know if I could find a no clouds picture. So let's test this. Let's make sure that they add and remove clouds. Okay, actually it doesn't look too bad. Okay, so the blue one will turn the clouds on, and the red one will turn the clouds off. So now we have a button for turning on and a button for turning off the clouds. And later on, we'll learn a better way to do this using an if statement, so that we only need one button. And when you click on it, if the clouds are off, it turns them on. If the clouds are on, it turns them off. So it'll be kind of like a toggle switch. Okay. So that's one example of what you can do. And we can do more of these. Let's do something else. Let's make another one of these. I didn't want it to do that. Let me just make a copy of one of these. So it's the same size and everything. So let me duplicate it and let me just move it over. All right, let me make this one a different color. Let me make this one a yellow. And let me get rid of the images that we have on there, the decals. Those are gone. That's gone. Okay. And so what do we want this one to do? Well, we could have it change something about the world as well. So how about we have it change the time of day? So let's put an image of, I don't know, the sun maybe? Sun would be a good image for that. Let's see if there's a nice image of a sun. This one looks good. Let's see how it looks on here. Perfect. Okay. So this one will change the clock time. And so let's change it. So let's see, which one is that one? No, this one. Okay. So this one's going to be box click. I don't know. I'll call it sun. And the script will be script click sun. Okay. And then I will double click on it to open it up. Change the name here. And then we have to change what this script does. So we don't want to change the terrain and the clouds. We actually want to go to, we don't want to go to workspace either. We want to go into lighting. There we go. And then clock time. And to change it to night, I think 18.5 is a good number. Okay. So we have that. And let's go ahead and test it. So when we click on this, it turns everything into night. Very nice. And you can turn the clouds on here actually. And there's clouds at night. Okay, so we've gone ahead and done a few examples already on how you can change things about the world that your game is in. Okay, and you could do the same stuff that we did before, right? Like you could have buttons for changing color, changing size, any of that stuff. But what I want to do is I want to do some changes of the player himself. Okay, so let's make another box. I'm going to go ahead and copy this one. And I'm going to move it over. Oh, whoops. I'm going to move it over. Change the color on this one. Make it a green, maybe. That'll work. Get rid of the decal. Now this one, we're going to make our character jump. So let's find an image of jumping. Let's see. I think the one I like is... and be careful when you're getting these images. Some of these are copyrighted, and you should not use them in your game. You might get... I'm pretty sure Roblox wouldn't like that. Let's see. Where's that jump? Here we go. So this is a nice image of a character jumping. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and change the name of this. So this is going to be box click jump. And this is going to be script click jump. Whoops, misspelled that. Okay. Now, how do we actually change something about the player? Well, remember, here, let me double click this to open it. So remember that we have access to the player right here. And the way, here, let me show you how it looks like in game. So when you actually push play and we open up the Explorer window, you'll see that all of the players will be in there. Well, here it's just me, right? But then what you want to do is you want to access something called, I mean, you can change anything here. You could change anything about the player. But the ones that are really fun are the properties of the humanoid. Okay, and if you go through here, you'll see that there's a lot of really fun properties that you can change. So you can change the jump property. You can change the sit property. You can change the health. If this goes to 0, he dies. You can change the walk speed. You can change the jump height. And that's the one we want to change. We wanted to change the jump height. Okay, so we're going to go in here. Now, what you would think is you could just say player.humanoid, but it doesn't work that way. You actually have to do player.character.humanoid, and then you get access to all of those fun properties. So we could say player.character.humanoid.jump equals true. Okay, and let's go ahead and test it and make sure it works. Oh, and I forgot to change the name here. Okay. See if this works. See if I didn't misspell anything. And if I click on this, it works. Okay, so you can click a button which will make your character jump. Now, what we really want to do though is make him jump high. So, whoops, let me change something else about the character, the humanoid. Now there's a jump height, and I think both of the words are capitalized. Jump height, and we set it, I think it was 8, so let's make it something big. Let's make it 50, okay? So now you can change the jump height and make your character jump. And he jumps really high, and from then on, your character can jump high. And now this is actually really popular. There are a bunch of things in the toolbox, actually, let me show you. There are a bunch of things in the toolbox that basically use this same bit of code. If you type in jump coil, you'll see people have made these coils. I don't know why they chose coils, but anyway, they chose these coils, and whenever you click or touch them, they let you jump higher. And there's also other ones, like we're going to do a speed coil here in a little bit. But actually, that would have been a good picture to use actually here too. And so this is it. This is as easy as it is. All you do is you create a function, you connect it to the mouse click event, or any event actually. But the thing about the mouse click event that's nice is that it gives you access to the player, and then you can just do player character humanoid and get access to all of those different properties. Okay, and that's it. Just a couple of lines of code, and you've created something that is potentially a lot of fun. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's make a super speed clicker. So I'm just going to copy this one. Let me duplicate, and I'm going to move this over. Okay. And then let's see, I want to change the color. Let's make it something else. Make this one orange. Yeah, why not? Okay, and I want to change the image. So let me start changing all this stuff. So this is going to be box click run and script click run. And again, I encourage you to change all of these names just so you don't get confused. I'm going to get rid of this decal. And I'm going to go ahead and add a run decal, a run image. And there's a good one down here somewhere. Most of these. Oh, that one, actually, this one would work too, but I like this one right here. Perfect. Okay, now we have a run image that tells you exactly what this box does. And now we just have to change the code a little bit. So let me click on script click run, double click it. And let's go ahead and go over here. And so I think it's walk speed. And normally it's like 15, so I'm gonna make it 50. And that's actually it. That's all you have to do. Oh, I forgot to change the name here. Okay, let's test it and see if our super speed click box works. So I click it, nothing's happened yet, but now if I start to run, oh man, now I'm super fast. I can run back. Okay, now one thing you could do is make this temporary, right? So let's see what it normally is. Let me stop this. Let me play it again. So the default value is, let me go in here. The normal value for my character's walk speed is 16. Okay. So what you'd want to do, if you wanted to make this temporary, you'd say wait, I don't know, maybe like 10 seconds. So make him wait 10 seconds and then change the character's walk speed back to normal. So you just copy this line, Control C for copy, Control V for paste, and change it back to 16. Okay. So let's see what this works. Let's see how this works. So this will be a temporary speed boost. So if I click it and I run fast for a while, and then after 10 seconds, hopefully this thing will stop. There it goes. And I'm back to normal speed. Okay. So you could do that with anything, right? You could make that jump height. You could also add this code to change it back to its normal value. Okay. So those are a lot of fun. Like I said, there's a lot of these coils in all kinds of games that give you these like superpowers, right? Being able to jump higher or being able to run faster. And anything you see in the humanoid, let me click on that again. Anything you see in the humanoid properties, you can change. All right, so there's a ton of stuff that you can do here. So if I go into my humanoid and I look at all these properties, you can change any of this stuff, right? And so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna make a death box that kills the character. So the way you do that is you just change the health from 100 to 0, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make a kill box. So one last box here. So let me copy it. Let me move it. And put it into position. Let me go ahead and call this box click die. And the script click die. All right. And let me get rid of this image because we can find a better one. Oh, let me change the color too. Let's make this, what color have I not used? Pink. Yeah, that'll work. And now let's go into the toolbox and look for a, I don't know, death maybe. Let's see if there's a death image. I'm looking for like a skull and crossbones maybe, something not too scary. Huh. These are all pretty much too much what I wanted. Oh, that one's kind of nice. No. Maybe I should do like a danger image. Sometimes the hardest part with finding what you want is just finding the right words to put into the search box. Let's do a skull. Maybe a skull would be better. Skull. Oh yeah. Oh, that's perfect. That's what I want exactly. This little skull and crossbones. Let me see what it looks like. Ah, perfect. Okay, so let's try our. Oh, and I forgot to change the code. Okay, so let me close this, and let me go into the script. Click die. Change that. And let's go ahead and change the code. So it's humanoid, and then I think it's health. And then I set it equal to 0, basically, and that causes him to die. Let's see if it works. Okay, here we go. Let's click it. And it works. All right, awesome. So we've created a bunch of these. And like I said, I wanted to kind of focus on, what do you call it? On changing properties for the world. So we created clouds, we got rid of clouds, changed the clock time. And then I wanted to show you how easy it is to change properties for the player himself. So we created a super jump ability with one of these boxes, and then a super walking speed ability, and then finally a kind of self-destruct button that terminates the player. Okay, and again, you can have a lot of fun with these, right? Anytime you click on something, you can have it do anything, affecting parts, affecting the world, affecting your player. Okay, so in the next lesson, we'll finish up events, and we'll go ahead and do the keyboard, the key press event, and have that cause some changes in our game. Okay, and I'll see you then.